Let me start by just talking you through what will happen during the week. So participants will start with us on the Monday, and we start with a focus on the wider system, kind of understanding the context of the NHS, putting some frameworks around it. That's the only time really that it's any kind of sitting, listening to lectures. It's not the style we tend to use. The rest of the week will be spent both on thinking about themselves. We use different psychometrics. We use group work a lot. They'll also be thinking about the consultant interview. So we'll do real live consultant interviews. We'll video them. It sounds scary, but they go away with with an example of what they're like in interview, with critiques from their fellow SPRs. We'll also be sending people out to an organisation to explore management in reality. So by the end of the week, the doctors will have a good sense of themselves, of the NHS context, and of how managers work. Another thing that this programme offers is the opportunity for the individual to get real insight into themselves, to understand what their personal preferences are, how they choose to behave, and how that impacts on other people. What this does is give somebody a much wider range of choices about how they might choose to behave and can be more effective as a leader in a system. I mean, I've been really encouraged by what previous participants have had to say about the course. One of the things that really makes my job worthwhile is at the end when people say things like, gosh, I've never been so engaged over a 5-day period. I think they come expecting to sit in a room and to be lectured at for 5 days, and it just couldn't be further away from the truth. People talk about how they now want to work proactively with management, how they have a much deeper understanding of what's going on and feel much better able to tackle the kind of daunting prospect of a consultant interview. That's a really encouraging outcome for us. There's a number of different things that I think makes this programme really special. We work very closely with the participants. So before you come on this programme, we'll send out a questionnaire to really understand what the learning needs of that particular group are. Of course, there's some core content that we cover because we have a sense of what's needed, but there's some flexibility and ability to tailor the programme to the needs of the participants as well. So everyone knows that the context of the NHS has changed over the last few years. And if you look at the way that policy has unfolded and the role of the clinician in managing this whole healthcare system, you see the clinicians taking a much more dominant role and being expected to pick up much more of the management side of the business. It's so essential that junior doctors are equipped with these skills before they reach consultancy to be able to be really effective consultants once they get into post. I'm always really encouraged by what people say at the end of the programme. For some people, it's having their eyes open to the wider context that makes them feel more able to operate successfully within it. For others, they've had some real deep personal learning about how do I as a leader operate? How can I be more effective? They might have reflected back over some of their past interactions with difficult colleagues or with their peers and have an understanding as to why that happened and what they might be able to do differently the next time. What I really like is when we have participants who say that as a consequence of the programme, they've been able to go back into their organisations and start to engage with the management in that organisation. They've got an understanding of what they do, how their role can fit into it, and ultimately how they can really work together to improve patient care. I mean, for me, that's really what this is about.